everyone. I hope you're doing well, and this is your Royal Daily News for September 17th, 2022. In Tokyo, their Imperial Majesties Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako of Japan departed for the United Kingdom this morning to attend the state funeral for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II on Monday, September 19th, 2022. This is the first overseas trip for the imperial couple since Emperor Naruhito ascended to the chrysanthemum throne in 2019. According to the newspaper The Japan Times, the decision for the Emperor and Empress to attend the state funeral underscores the, quote, importance and the deep bond between the royal families. Traditionally, a Japanese emperor stays away from funerals, except for those of their own parents, because of a cultural belief based in the Shinto religion that considers death impure, end quote. The former Emperor Akihito, as Crown Prince, attended Her Majesty the Queen's 1953 coronation and her Diamond Jubilee in 2012. Queen Elizabeth visited Japan in 1975. In Oslo, Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway sent a video message/greeting on the occasion of the opening of the queer Christian network QCN Gathering in Kristiansand. Established in 2019, the QCN is an interdenominational interest organization for members of the LGBTQIA+ community and supporters with backgrounds from and possible connections to various denominations. According to a press release, the three-day gathering offers, quote, both academic and social content, including seminars, church services, and concerts, end quote. In her message to the attendees, the Crown Princess said, quote, Dear to all of you who are meeting in Kristiansand, everyone should be allowed to believe what they want. Everyone should be allowed to love whomever they want. And everyone should be allowed to be who they are. You are not alone. I am on your team, end quote. In London, His Majesty King Charles III of the United Kingdom held audiences this morning with the Defence Chiefs of Staff, including the First Sea Lord, Admiral Sir Ben Key, held in the 1844 room at Buckingham Palace. Thereafter, per Buckingham Palace, His Majesty the King visited the Metropolitan Police Special Operations Room in Lambeth, whereupon His Majesty thanked the emergency service workers who have been involved in the planning and delivering of the policing, including officers from other forces, for their support ahead of the state funeral for Her Majesty the Queen. Prior to noon, His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales visited hundreds of members of the public who had been queuing to see Her Majesty the Queen lying in state at Westminster Hall. According to several news reports, the members of the public were, quote, eager to exchange a word with the King and the Prince of Wales as they shook hands with the closest. Several shouted, God save the King and God save the Prince of Wales, as each passed by. Dozens shouted, hip hip hooray, as the King and the Prince of Wales moved down the line, stopping for a few moments with each person. Several people called their friends and relatives on the phone to tell them what they had just witnessed. The King and the Prince of Wales thanked the people for waiting in line for many hours as they shook hands with mourners, end quote. Meanwhile, their Royal Highnesses, the Earl and Countess of Wessex, met with members of the public in front of Buckingham Palace and along the Mall. In the afternoon, His Majesty King Charles III hosted the Governors General of the Realm reception and luncheon held at Buckingham Palace. Members of the royal family were also in attendance, including Her Majesty the Queen Consort, their Royal Highnesses the Prince and Princess of Wales, their Royal Highnesses the Earl and Countess of Wessex, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal and Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, their Royal Highnesses the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, and Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra, the Honourable Lady Ogilvy. The day ended with His Majesty the King holding audiences with the Prime Ministers of the realm, including the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, Canada, the Honourable Philip Davis, the Bahamas, and the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, New Zealand, held inside the 1844 room at Buckingham Palace. Meanwhile, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, the Duke of Sussex, Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice of York, Her Royal Highness Princess Eugenie of York, James the Viscount Severn, Lady Louise Mountbatten-Windsor, Mr. Peter Phillips, and Mrs. Zara Tindall held a vigil beside Her Majesty the Queen's coffin in Westminster Hall at the Palace of Westminster. The Queen's grandchildren stood in quiet contemplation around their beloved grandmother for 15 minutes. According to Buckingham Palace, it was His Majesty the King who requested that the grandchildren hold a vigil for their grandmother, something, according to various sources, they were, quote, all keen to undertake, end quote. In Steinfurt, His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg attended the 101st anniversary celebrations of the family-owned company Klein Bennington Mills. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow on Sunday, September 18th with all the latest royal news. Until then, I wish each and every one of you a wonderful Saturday evening and a great Sunday tomorrow. Okay, take care everyone. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.